So now they're going to go try genetic genealogy for the DNA that they've recovered on the gloves. And again, the reason I say it's ambiguous whether they've gotten a match in CODIS or not on the DNA inside the house is because the sheriff is, it's not that precise with his language. And Jonathan Hunt of Fox News asked him, is there a CODIS match from the DNA in the house? And he said, no, which, okay, that's why in our AM update this morning, we reported that the sheriff says no match from the DNA in the house. And I think the FBI actually also said that. But then later that day, the Pima County Sheriff's Department put out something suggesting they're still testing the DNA in the house. So just put an asterisk after it. Has become typical, we don't totally understand what the sheriff is meaning to say. Cece Moore, who's been on the show a couple times, she's the godmother of it. And she was saying this is why you're not going to have serial killers anymore in the United States, because it's just too touch DNA, doesn't have to be yours that they find in their database. It can be your sixth cousin. And Cece Moore, when she's sicked on the case of, okay, we can tell that this touch DNA we found on this crime scene belongs to someone who's a distant relation to, our whatever. We can find that it's related to this person who we got a hit off of. But we know it wasn't this person who's in our CODIS database because this person is 100 years old and in hospice. So you start from that 100-year-old person in hospice and you start drawing circles around the person and getting to all their relatives until you can get closer and closer and closer, in this case to Tucson, Arizona, and somebody who might be living there. She actually came on and explained it with respect to the Kohlberger case on because, in that case, they grabbed his trash and did testing. And that's how they often do it. They grab your trash, which is why Brian Kohlberger was putting his trash into his neighbor's bin. Here she is describing the process, because this is what's now going to be done to the DNA on those gloves, and probably also that found in Nancy's home.
They'll do what's called a trash pull. If they can't just follow that person and pick something up that they dropped, then they'll typically resort to waiting for that person to put their trash out on the curb. And most states allow this. It's considered abandoned at that point. And then they go through the trash and try to find an item that might have DNA on it. But when it's a home like this, a household where there's multiple people, they don't know exactly whose DNA they're going to get. So in this case, they found a male sample of DNA and tested it, and it wasn't the suspect's. However, they were able to perform what is basically a standard paternity test comparison to the profile from the button on the sheath, and determined that that individual's DNA from the trash was the father of the individual who left his DNA behind at the crime scene.